All right, here we go. Go Sports Radio. Here with you, live from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island on a Wednesday. At least one of us is. Paul Cuthbert is at Borrelli's in Long Beach as always. Sadly, I am at the home compound today, but I will be back at Borrelli's tomorrow for a huge PGA Championship free Carver and Cuthbert podcast Miller Lite Thursday at Borrelli's, which I will absolutely be a part of. We have so much to do today. We have got Yankees have been moved up. They're playing at 1 o'clock now today as they got some weather coming down in Baltimore, so they're playing an afternoon game now. We've got the Mets later on tonight at home at Citi Field against the Tigers. The Knicks are into the Eastern Conference Finals and waiting while the Cavs and the Pistons beat each other up. Stanley Cup playoffs, even series between the Sabres and the Habs. Vegas and Ducks, a great series. The other two, not so much, as the Avalanche will probably put Minnesota on ice later this evening. We have got the PGA Championship at Aronimink just outside of Philadelphia teeing off tomorrow. Very, very busy week and a beautiful Wednesday at Borrelli's for myself and Paul Cuthbert. Hi, Paul. How you doing?
It figures, right, Mike? It's going to be up to 75, and you're not here today.
I don't need to be reminded about it. It's just, you know, it really is tough because I bellyache and complain about the weather all the time. It's all that I do on this show is just complain about the weather. I love going down to Borrelli's. I love going down to Long Beach. And of course, today, you know, it's just one of those things, Paulie. Sometimes they get you. The old, let's leave something on in the car and kill the battery day for us here. And by the way, it wasn't me who did that, but someone else who lives in the house. We won't say who, but
no, not on air. No.
What are you gonna do, Paul? You gotta go to work. What are you gonna do? So
good to see you, buddy. It's all good.
We're here. We're ready to roll. I'm excited. This is a great week. There's so much happening. It's the middle of May. Summer's around the corner. You know I'm always excited for the golf, especially when it's a major week. I'm pumped for the Yankees today. The wind is blowing out at Camden Yards here for Kyle Bradish and Max Fried this afternoon, so we might get some long balls. Very, very busy show here today, Paulie.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's tell you, time flies. You know, a week in between shows here, and it just doesn't feel like it sometimes. But yeah, look, the nice weather's back. Yankees going through some changes. The puck has been a little wild, not to use the Minnesota pun there, but just the series here. We've said goodbye to a couple of teams, and we're moving on. And our Knicks are on vacation, I would say, Mike.
This is a vacation, what they're on. That's what we could call it, and we'll get to it in a little bit. The Knicks, after absolutely throttling the Sixers on Friday and Sunday, I mean, just absolutely knocked them around, non-competitive, almost scrimmage-like atmospheres in Philadelphia for the Knicks to beat up on the Sixers, who just went down so feeble and gutless. It's almost like, Paulie, the Sixers said, we beat the Celtics, and that was our NBA championship. Like that, come back down 3-1, and they just – and look, give the Knicks credit, and the Knicks maybe are a machine right now. I don't think we're really going to know that until we get a little bit further, but, man, did Philly lay down on the road for them in that series. Just laid down on the road. And let them
this is all good stuff. I mean, I haven't heard any latest news, but I guess this is great for OG, right? Getting better too. So
huge. Him not playing those last two games, and you didn't need him to play. You got through the series, and now at this point, because the Sixers the Pistons and the Cavs are now playing at least 6 games, so they're playing Game 5 tonight.
Look at that, man. I mean, only Game 5 in there. What kind of scheduling? I mean, NHL but even more so in the NBA, man. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the Canes are on vacation down in Cayman Islands. I'd probably imagine by now.
You get those sweeps. You get those sweeps, and it goes a lot fast. You know, and remember this about Carolina, Philly, because they had started that series, Paul. I remember before the other series even ended. Remember they needed a game last Saturday night, 2 Saturdays ago now at this point. So that's why the Carolina Philly series went by so fast, because they swept them and it just got over quick. And now the Knicks with a sweep. So Game 5 tonight, Game 6 Friday against the Pistons and the Cavs. I believe, Paulie, if what I saw is true, if it ends in 6 and one of those two teams wins tonight and Friday, that the Knicks would play Game 1 on Monday, I think, of this coming up. So I think minimum Monday, and if it goes to Game 7, which would be Sunday, I think it would be Tuesday would be then when the Knicks would start. So you're talking over a week because Mother's Day Sunday would be the last time they've played. It's a lot of rest, but I actually think, Paulie, it helps a team like them because of the OG injury, because Cat and Brunson have so much, they do so much, and there's so much wear and tear on them. I think sometimes it can be a detriment to a team, but sometimes it could be very helpful. And I think that will be the case whenever the Knicks get to come around again and play the Pistons or the Cavs in round number 3.
Yeah. So looking back, we were joking there when the series started, and me calling for the Dolan game, and I said once the Dolan game was over that they would sweep, and they did do it. I mean, take a look at the previous series and how they kind of ended that one, and then going into this and rolling. What's your overall picture here? Feeling about the Knicks and whether they play the Pistons or the Cavs as far as getting to the finals now.
I am going to stick with exactly what I said to you even before they finished off this series, which is the way that this roadmap is set up now. It would be an awful job if they are not at minimum in the NBA Finals. Like they should absolutely win the East, not only because they're going to have so many advantages, Paulie. They're going to have an enormous rest advantage. They have the better roster than both of these two teams. Now, home court will be a little different. If they play the Cavs, they have home court. If they play Detroit, obviously the game 1 would be in Detroit. But I don't think that necessarily matters. People will look back and say Detroit beat them so badly in the regular season. It's regular season. It's wiffle ball. I think that when everyone got upset about how the Knicks played at certain points of this regular season, it was always for me, let's see what happens when we get to April and May. And let's see what happens if when the playoff lights turn on, everything will be good. And think about it, like since they were down 2-1 to Atlanta in the first round, they've been lights out. They've 7 straight games. And most of them, there's maybe one of those 7 that was in doubt at the end. I guess game 2 against the Sixers, which was kind of close late, would be the only one that I'd consider maybe was close. They've smashed in every other game. Just complete beatdown. So I think minimum they have to be in the NBA Finals. We've discussed what a tall task it would be to beat Oklahoma City, Oklahoma City hasn't lost a game yet either. They're like Carolina in the edge, and they're 8-0 as they get to wait now for Minnesota or San Antonio in the next round. But I think anything short of getting to the NBA Finals would be a massive disappointment for the Knicks at this point. Massive disappointment.
And any real, as far as playing Detroit or Cleveland, minus the home field, home court, I should say.
Look, I think that Detroit is a little bit more of a dangerous matchup for them just because of it's a kind of a different style. Detroit's going to want to play physical with them and do those things. But I haven't been super impressed with Detroit even up to this point. They were down 3-1 to the Magic, who stink, and they needed everything. It doesn't feel like they have any legitimate secondary option after Cade Cunningham. The Cavs are the Cavs. You would think the Cavs, you look at them, you're like Donovan Mitchell and Harden and Mobley. They're so soft. So, it's just I would be very, very disappointed if the Knicks didn't at minimum. And I'm not a Knicks fan. But I would absolutely be disappointed if they didn't at minimum play the Thunder. And I also think, Paulie, that they're good enough to win a couple games from the Thunder if they got there. So I think that they're that too.
And if for us to jump over 2 series here, if Knicks,
it's kind of
OKC,
unfair, but yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. I would have to say, obviously all of us here in New York, we want to go to the finals.
Yeah.
And you have to be excited because, the path is theirs. There's no doubt about it. I think either way, you get Cleveland or Detroit, you're feeling good about the Knicks, especially now getting the rest. They get OG back, and just the way they've been playing collectively as a team. Starters to bench. Brown's doing a really good job, and they've won with authority. Especially in the last 7 games. So I think if you can kind of say they should have a good series either way, and hopefully come out on top. So we might as well have some fun here, Mike, right? For argument's sake. Obviously, PGA and this crew in Oklahoma doing a fantastic job there. But if you had the Knicks and Oklahoma line up together, and as much as we've joked about this and me, myself saying, the parade's going through Oklahoma, regardless if the Knicks get there.
No, it is.
But the Knicks have played better. They've played different. They've played, I think it's a different Knick team than say, after the first round and these first couple of games, second round here. So do you give them, does anything change for you if they match up a little better now playing against Oklahoma? Do you not, you don't see them being swept. You don't see them, you see maybe it being a decent series.
I think that just how they've played the last 7 games, let's say, if they're going to play like this, I would say when the playoffs started, if you would have told me they were going to play Oklahoma City in the finals, I would have said they would either get swept or lose in 5, gentlemen's sweep. I would have probably said that before the playoffs. Asking me today, I think they could definitely win 2 games and get it to 6. And who knows? I mean, if the Pacers got them to a 7th game last year. So
yeah,
I wouldn't say it's impossible, but that's because of how they're playing right now. And I would need a fully healthy OG Anunoby, and I would need everybody, I would need every component of the Knicks firing. And I would say that they absolutely could have a deep series with the Thunder at that point. I still couldn't pick them to win it because Oklahoma City is just, they are so deep and they are so, they bring so, their second and third unit come in. It's like, they're so good. And, and Jalen Williams hasn't even played and it's just, they're going to be so tough to take down. And, and you know what, we could be putting the cart before the horse a little bit here. It's kind of being a little disrespectful to Detroit, Cleveland.
Why not? Nothing wrong with being a little disrespectful.
But that's okay. That's okay. I think that it would be I actually, and you know who else needs it, Paulie? I think the NBA needs it. They need Knicks against the Thunder because look, as great as the Thunder are, it's not a big market.
No, not at all.
It's not a big team. And you look at the ratings, and that's what we look at. We probably love this stuff, ratings, and we got to, you had 2 small markets last year when Oklahoma City won with them in Indiana, and the ratings got better as the series went on because it was close and it was 7 games, but you didn't have that blockbuster franchise or market in there. You take the Oklahoma City team with the dominance that they have had, and you mix that with the Knicks, big market, and that's like the people
and fans all over the country.
Adam Silver is sitting in his office on Park Avenue right now, hoping, because if you look around, you don't have that really anywhere. I mean, Detroit's a big market, and but it's not New York or LA or Chicago or Boston. So he's sitting in his office right now, going, "Please, we can do so well with Knicks Oklahoma City if we somehow got that to the final." So from a television aspect, yes. I do believe that that's what they're sitting and hoping for in their offices right now, Paulie, is that they go ahead and get that.
All right. Well, those 2 teams are on vacation right now to get to watch the rest of the series. What do you think's going on over there on the other side there in Western Conference in the NBA?
Well, look, the Spurs did what they had to do last night. The Spurs did what they had to do, and I guess the question would be here, and I don't think it's going to happen, but does Minnesota have enough to win 2 games? Do they have enough to even win game 6 at home against the Spurs? And I'm not sure. I think we've probably gotten the most that we're going to get out of Minnesota in this series. I really do. I think the Spurs probably finish them game 6. I guess that would be tomorrow night. There up into Target Center in Minnesota. So I think you're going to get Spurs Thunder, which is highly anticipated because the Spurs, they beat the Thunder's ass all year in the regular season. They were really good against them, just like Detroit did to the Knicks, honestly. So now you get Detroit Knicks and you get Thunder Spurs, the quote-unquote underdogs in those series, which the Spurs and the Pistons will be. They have had strong regular season success against the favorites in those series. So that it's going to be very interesting to see, Paulie, moving forward in that aspect. So NBA, and tonight you get, of course, tonight is the Cavs-Pistons game 5 in the NBA. So we have that this evening. That's 8 o'clock East. Only 1 game tonight. of course, because like we mentioned, the Knicks and the Thunder, they have already moved on. All right, let's do all the playoff stuff first, Paulie, and
You
then
got
we'll do
it.
the Knicks and all the other fun stuff later. Because I thought I love this Buffalo Sabre team, and John's in the chat box with how about them Sabres, and they've been such a fun magic carpet ride since December that like I was a little leery going into last night. I was thinking, man, is this over for the Sabres? Like, have they just really run out of gas and don't have enough? And they have a big effort. They make the goalie switch again, just like it worked in round one, where they switched to Lyon after game 2. They take Lyon.
Puka Puka Looney, man.
Puka gets in there and does the job. And it's also the way that they do it too, right? That's such magic carpet ride stuff, getting that type of goal off the backboard and goes in like that. That's where you're this team's kind of got that like team of destiny type of thing to them. And I said yesterday on the Berube show when we were previewing the game, I said I feel like whoever wins this game tonight is going to win the series. Obviously, if Montreal would have went up 3-1, I would have thought they would get it done. But I thought if Buffalo won in Montreal last night and got it to 2-2, that they would absolutely find a way to win 2 of these last 3 games with 2 of them in Buffalo. And I believe that. And the way that Thompson goal happens just confirms it even more to me that there's something special going on with this team. And as well as Montreal's played, Paulie, I think that Buffalo's now going to find a way to get out of this thing after winning last night.
Yeah, special magic carpet ride, or maybe just getting really, really lucky.
Yeah.
They played dumb in a lot of spots last night. Montreal obviously not cashing in on power play opportunities. I know we'll get into it too. Anaheim, again, last night, not taking advantage of it as well. But and it was weird, the goal in the glove that was called back, and then the goalie interference. It was like 12, 13 minutes delay during the game.
Very strange.
But I will say this. Hell of a job they're doing up there in Montreal and the Bell as far as that atmosphere. 20,000 people going nuts. Just going into that building is daunting. And to come out with a win like they did last night, however you get it, right? In the playoffs, it don't matter. It's just you need the win. That's all you need. Get the hell out of there, and they're going back home. So you take it. Lindy making some changes last night. Shen, right, was putting the lineup too, helping them out in front of the net. So he addressed a couple of things. And, because I brought this up a couple of years ago when the Devils were down 2-0 to the Rangers after the Rangers put up 10 goals in the first 2 games.
Right.
And Lindy Ruff was the coach, and he made a ton of adjustments too. The guy knows how to coach. He does know his teams, especially in the playoffs. I know he hasn't really a lot of regular season success outside of this year in a long time, but in playoff spots, the guy knows his job, man, and he did. He made a couple, and again with a little bit of luck last night. You have to take that puck off the boards. It's a tight game, but at the end of the day, like I said, Lindy makes the adjustments, and the Sabres get out of there with a win in a hostile environment, which I thought was just incredibly impressive to go in there and win that game, because I was tweeting the night before it was over as far as I was concerned. I just think Montreal just has, for me on the Magic side of it, it's been Marty St. Louis. And, as a coach and what he's done with this young team, he's inspired them and all this other stuff. And he's got great pedigree in terms of teaching these kids. So, look, they can full well go into Buffalo and win that game. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely.
And send it back. This everybody's been talking about it, that it's going to go 7, and it still could be there. But look, bravo right now for the Sabres going in and taking that game and getting it back home. And they can turn it on, as far as the crowd, in Buffalo too. So, hey, for all of us watching on the outside here, it's just great. We get more puck and get to see how these teams kind of mull through it together.
We need these 2 series to carry us because the other 2 were so bad. I mean, Carolina whitewashed Philly in 4, as we mentioned before. And I'm a little disappointed in the Minnesota Wild, Paulie. And you said it, at the start of the series. I was saying I thought that Minnesota, who was one of the 4 best teams in the league this year, I thought the addition of Hughes really gave them another gear, another boost, and he's been excellent. He really has. They just didn't have enough. I mean, Colorado is so good, and I know that The one thing that I brought up about them is the goaltending situation, and it don't matter, Paulie, if you can score 5 goals every night. I guess it doesn't it doesn't make a difference because they've been so good, even here, and full marks to what Bednar has done there, and the way that they've played. And
well, they keep coming at you. They come at you in waves.
Tough.
And it gets tougher and tougher. You got a lot of experience on there. And McKinnon is just a machine. I mean, he's just great. He wants it so bad. And he's playing like Landeskog, all these guys, McCarr. I mean, it's just a very well balanced team. It's few and far between when Colorado does kind of, especially this season, when they've kind of tailed off a little bit, and it is the playoffs. It is a long season. They start back in September, we're into the end of May right now, a lot of miles on the skates and everything else and stuff. But at the end of the day, and Quinn Hughes is doing a great job as much as he can. And Kaprizov too, Zuccarello's old, a little smaller than these guys too, smaller players and stuff. You got to look at how the matchups are a little bit and stuff. And at the end of the day, it's a Mack truck coming from you from Colorado.
It is. And, I tried to get in front of it here in this series, and I don't think that I'm gonna do it again the rest of the way. I just don't. They've kind of gotten me here. I'll believe now. All right, I guess that they are gonna
look at
win.
this, Rado breaking your heart, man. Unbelievable.
It's not even so much breaking my heart. It's just I look at it from I'm always trying to look at sometimes things, Paulie, from like the betting, like where if I got a ticket on somewhere, I'm trying to trying to find ways to take down the big favorite that I'm obviously not going to bet. And I'm trying to look at it from those aspects too. And I'm like, I got nothing here. Like, I want to try to go after, I have Buffalo and that in the East, and that's going to be the team that I hope can carry the flag and get even beyond this series, some more upsets against Carolina, etc. But I'm done in the West. Colorado's going to the Stanley Cup final. I fully believe that at this point. They're going to dust off Minnesota tonight. They're going to win the series in 5 games. I don't care who comes out of that other series, which we'll talk about in a moment. Neither of them are beating Colorado in the Western Conference final. There's just no shot. And I don't care about the history between Vegas and Colorado, and they've played great series. I've been watching these Vegas games, Paulie. And look, give them credit. They're up 3-2, and they're a win away from going to the Western Conference finals. I can't believe that they have gotten out of the forest so many times in these series.
Well, I said it. They've been lucky all playoffs long.
Utah, you can make the case, outplayed them for 75% of the series in round 1, and Vegas just give them credit. They found a way, and they won the series in 6. I feel like Anaheim has outplayed Vegas for extremely large portions of this series.
Yes.
And it's the same exact series, but yet Vegas is going to their place up 3-2 with a chance to end it. So Vegas is probably going to win, but they ain't getting this kind of stuff with Colorado in the West Finals.
Well, hang on there, because Quenneville's got 2 games to work with here.
Okay, so you're a believer. You think the Ducks will get it
well,
done?
just because of the inconsistency of Vegas and the fact, Carter Hart's, bailing their butt out. They haven't been playing that smart, and getting – as far as the Sabres and coming out of the East and, beating Carolina, I don't think that's a given. I mean, first of all, they haven't even beaten Montreal yet, so let's hang on there. They've made a lot of mistakes in this series.
No question.
They've been lazy at times.
I'm just saying they're the only I'm talking about that maybe pull it from more like the betting. Like, they're the only team that I would want to bet as a long shot to maybe win. Like, I wouldn't back anybody else to beat Colorado or Carolina. Those are the only team I would back.
Understand. Hey, look, when you look at Vegas here, Torts has only had this team for less than 2 months. So you have to throw that in there. So, take that as, and he's Torts and everything else, but it's still, he's only had the team for, less than 2 months here.
Yeah.
He's going what, 7, 8, 9 games right into the playoffs and that level. And he's doing the best he can, and I think he's doing an all right job. I think, like I said, Stone's out now too, right, for Vegas, and
they don't know when he's coming back.
So I wouldn't count Q and the Ducks out yet, because they've still got all their things in place. They've been, I don't know if you saw me, I was noting it last night, the possession side of it.
Right.
Anaheim just seems to have the puck all the time.
Yep.
And I think, like I said, going back home now, they win. And again, if they make the adjustments and then just keep putting that, I think Anaheim, if they don't let up, they don't get discouraged here and they just keep pouring it on, Vegas can be beat. There's no doubt about it. And then what you said, though, I agree with you too. No matter who comes out of this series, Anaheim or Vegas, they're not beating Colorado.
No, they're not. And I'm not even sure, Paulie, honestly, I'm not even sure either of them give them a series. Like, I really don't. Like, I don't even think – I think it's going to be like this Minnesota series. I think it's going to be – they're just going to lean on these teams so much. Now, look, Anaheim – we saw in the first round the kind of they went and played the Edmonton up and down 7-5 crazy stuff. And that's a dangerous game to play with Colorado. That's that's because they'll get you.
They're very experienced in that aspect. So
I think that
they can play them tight and they can play them wild.
The Ducks would have to try to play like they have in this series with Vegas and keep it a little bit more stabilized as opposed to it becoming a track meet, because I don't think that really won't go well against the Avalanche. You cannot run that kind of game against them. But again, here you have a situation where Game 6 is going to be tomorrow night. That's Thursday. If they win that, Game 7's, I guess, Saturday. Like, Colorado's going to not play if they win tonight until Monday or Tuesday. So some good rest for a veteran squad. And John wrote McKinnon's looking like a shoo-in for the Conn Smythe. I mean, if Colorado wins the Cup, he is absolutely going to be the guy.
Well, just remember how bad he wanted the gold medal. And
that's fueled some stuff here, I think.
Yeah, he's on a mission. He's a superior type player. Maybe he doesn't say the best things off the ice, but he's the real deal, man. He carries that team. And it's a star-studded team. And they're making their way as far as the Nets. We were talking about this with Scotty Lachlan last week about all the different goaltending tandems and who's going to hoist the cup this year and everything else. But also Bednar's a great coach, man. And what you have to watch in the last couple of games too is the discipline Colorado's having. And they're just, Minnesota's trying everything they got. Minnesota just seems to be a little scurried here in the last couple of games. They're for them to, even to get in the next game, they almost don't have to play a perfect game. And when you're depending too much on your top defenseman offensively,
right,
that's a lot of trouble for a hockey team.
It is. It is. There's no question about that. Very, very tough in all of those spots, Paulie. But it's been exciting, and I think we've got two series that are going to go left here in the second round with some distance, maybe, with Anaheim, Vegas, and with Buffalo, Montreal. And the big favorites can wait around, see what happens.
Enjoy it, everybody, because pretty soon, it's going to be, NHL draft, and now we have to find out who's going to coach the Maple Leafs, buddy.
Yeah. Look, that's another one. Let's finish hockey with that. So we talked last week with Scotty Lachlan about the mess and the press conferences and the hiring of Chaika and Sundin, and then winning the lottery. So it took them a week of meetings to get together and now decide that Berube's not going to be the guy for them in Toronto. So out he goes with all of that. And, I get they're actually talking right now. They're having another big get together with the media in Toronto to talk about firing him. So I'm sure somebody will go after.
Wait, so they're having a press conference about the firing without a new hiring?
Correct. That's what they're doing right now. So this is media relations 101.
What? Get a
grip in Toronto. Media relations. It's just high. Who wants that job? I mean, someone obviously is going to take it. You'll find somebody always to take one of these jobs. There's only 32 of them. But man, that's a tough spot to go into. That's a real tough spot.
Well, I would imagine if it's a veteran coach, and let's say, and I don't even think Vegas is giving. I thought I read that they're not giving Cassidy permission yet to talk to the Leafs. But a veteran guy is going to come in there, and if a veteran guy is offered that, he's going to get a massive contract, right? So if you're talking about who wants that gig, right? So if there's a lot of money on it, guaranteed contract for 4 years or whatever the heck it is, why not? Go in there and whatever the madness is and, just go for it as far as a coach. If it's a young guy, maybe that's where does Toronto go that route again? What they did a few years back, and maybe come in with a lesser contract. It's very icky what's going on up in Toronto, man. I'm just glad and it's hard to say as a Rangers fan. I'm glad I'm not a Leafs fan, because we haven't done a lot of winning lately.
And saying that, like you said, as a Ranger fan, I'm glad I'm a Leafs fan, which is just.
There's not a lot of us down here in New York.
Not trying to laugh. Hey,
about stuff,
look, and I know it's hard. Like, everyone laughs at these things. Like, I know it's been 1967, whatever it is, since the Leafs have won, and it's been 10,000 days. Yeah, everybody's got those trackers up. It's the last time the Leafs won the cup. Like, look, it's not like it happens too often around here either.
No.
Okay, I mean, let's be fair here. I mean, we're talking 40 years, 42 years since the Islanders have won. We're talking, where are we at now? 32 years, Paulie,
30.
since the Rangers have won. So I get it, and it's fun, and everyone likes to chuckle and all those, but it's been a long time around here also. both stops. So at least the Devils. I mean, even the Devils have won 3 since both the Islanders and the Devils and the Rangers have. But you got to.
Theirs is what? They're almost 20 years, right?
They're at about 20. Yeah, they're at about there now too. So
these are, we've seen
well, we've
small children become teenagers into young adults now since we've.
This is a New York wide problem, Paulie. This is something we've discussed. This has now become. When was the last? And I know I'm not trying to not count NYCFC or the Liberty or anything like that, but this has now been since the Giants got the second Patriots Super Bowl. So that was 11 or 12. So we're talking 14, 15 years since the last major New York championship. Me and you talked last week about how the Yankees hadn't won, now going on 17 years since they've won. The hockey teams forever. The Knicks, God, is like the Maple Leaf thing, and that it's been so long since the Knicks have won, and they'll have a chance. So it's not exactly like New York has been overflowing with championships like Boston has the last 20 years.
So Mike, let me ask you, if the Sabres win the Stanley Cup,
no, it doesn't count for.
Do we get to celebrate down here in lower New York State? No.
That is for the great people of Buffalo who have been waiting all their lives for something like this. If that happens, it is for them. And it is
I can't go to the parade.
It is not for anyone south of Albany. Basically, anyone south of Albany, it is not for them. Syracuse, Rochester, Buffalo, they all get to have separate parades and parties or everything else that they want to have. But no, anybody downstate, you got to that's if you're a Sabre fan, go up there and go to the parade. So that's
it's a terrible state of affairs down here. I don't know. The Knicks are close. The Giants might be even a little closer. Who knows? And if the Yankees can ever get their act together, I know we'll talk baseball later. But swing back to this one last time. Any thought about who might get the coaching thing? And I have to plug something in real quick. Go ahead, buddy.
Who might get? Yeah, I mean, for a place like that, they would need a big name. For a place like that, I don't think that it's. I mean, I don't think you could just hire some AHL coach or somebody with no experience. And look, they've gone there. Who has Berube won a cup and had experience, and that didn't work. You look at some of the guys they've had in the past. It doesn't. So, if I couldn't even begin to tell you because it's such a mess, Paulie. I'm not sure who would even want to step into the arena. With that type of a situation.
Scotty Laughlin. Give Scotty the job.
That would be fine with me because you have a lot of things balls in the air there, and you've got 80 microphones in front of your face every single practice, day off, game day. It is a very different and unique job in the NHL. It really is. And,
you know who might know? And that's the guy we got coming on the show tomorrow, buddy. Let's let everybody know.
I know. B-Comp's coming on tomorrow. Brian Compton from NHL.com. So he'll be here. We'll ask him who he thinks should maybe get the Leaf job or who the Leafs should target or if there's anybody around, somebody like that. And B-Comp will do Stanley Cup playoffs with him. And he's got the MS walk at Jones Beach this weekend, where I believe the last I saw him tweet out or message out, I believe he has raised over $20,000 for the MS walk coming up this week. So BCOM's done an amazing job with that, and we'll have him tomorrow, and we'll do some more hockey with him then. And John says you are free to come to the Sabres. Paulie, please feel free to come to the Sabres parade. You get special dispensation, so you're in. Paulie, if the Sabres win, you are in. You're invited to the parade up in Buffalo by John. He says that you can get up there.
Sounds good. I'll have to get me an old McGillney or LaFontaine jersey. Wear it up there.
Those are the classics. What
those
about,
are my favorite Sabres.
The Howard Chuck. You need a little Howard Chuck up there too. You get one of those. There's a couple of good ones you can get for the Sabres. All right, Paulie. Why don't
there's
we?
There's a big help wanted sign on the side of the Rogers Arena up in Toronto right now.
Yes, there is. There certainly is. All right, Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio. Here on a Wednesday, of course, live from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. We're going to come back and talk about all the baseball. But first, Paulie's going to tell you everything that's going to be going on at Borrelli's, and there's a lot of it.
Sure is. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining the chat. Thanks for all the views and the looks, clicks, and all that stuff during the week. We appreciate it. Appreciate the support. We are live here every Wednesday and Thursday from Borrelli's Taproom, 912 West Beach Street in Long Beach, New York, down the South Shore here on Long Island, where it's starting to get very nice. The beaches will be open here in a couple of weekends, Memorial Day weekend coming through. But before Memorial Day weekend, this weekend, we got the Country Fest going on here at Borrelli's Taproom. That's the biggest news that's going on. It starts on Friday and it goes all through Sunday Fun Day. There's a bunch of Nashville artists that are coming up from Nashville, going to be playing here. So if you like country music, you're going to get a mix of, new country, hosted by one of his favorite, Anthony Gal. He's going to be hosting. So make sure you come down and check out Country Fest all weekend long. All kinds of bucket specials, food specials, all the great stuff that always goes on here at Borrelli's. No cover. Come on down. Country, all weekend long, starting this Friday and through Saturday and Sunday right here at Borrelli's. Today is Thursday, so that means it's carnival night down here at Borrelli's. Oh, today's Wednesday. Look at me. Thanks, Tommy. That's why Tommy's here, to help me out, because I'm very old and the mind is going. Tomorrow night is Thursday, and it's carnival night. And it's a special carnival night because it's the return of the Billy Joel theme night as well, too.
Yes.
Songs from Italian Restaurant. Not only for $42.99 do you get a choice of steak, full of pork with a super salad and dessert and bottomless beer and endless wines. If you're a Billy Joel fan, you get the greatest hits of Billy Joel live here tomorrow night. So check that out tomorrow night. No cover. Come on down. Have a great time at Borrelli's Carnivore Night. And then that's pretty much what's going on for this weekend. We've got to let everybody know that next Monday night, as far as the comedy series goes, there's a few tickets left for Anthony Rodia. So make sure you go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com or Eventbrite.com and search for Borrelli's Comedy for few remaining tickets for Anthony Rodia on Monday night. A couple more comedy shows coming in here. We're always announce them every week. We got James Free coming in here on June 29th. We got Joe List coming in here on July 14th. And don't forget, we have just announced Billy Gardell is going to be here on June 15th. And Chris DiStefano will be here Wednesday, August 5th, along with me and my wife, because we're coming down to see Chris. We're fans of Chris.
Nice.
Show. Don't forget that. And there'll be more comedy shows announced very soon, maybe even tomorrow. Definitely next week. More theme music nights here on Wednesdays coming up. Wednesday, May 20th, which is next week, is New Year's Days, which is U2 tribute. And they're going to do a special kind of like MT Unplugged electric kind of show here next week. Then that's free, and there'll be $21 beer specials and half-price bottles of wine. So come down if you're a U2 fan next Wednesday on the 20th. And then the return of Bruce Springsteen night here on May 27th. Best of the Boss, same thing. No cover, free admission. Come on down for that night as well, too. There are some tickets left for Ravioli Night on Wednesday, May 13th, which is tonight, isn't it? Tom, now I know where I am. See, now I got it, Mike. And now I'm grounded. Now you know where I am. Tonight is Ravioli Night. I can't believe it's the 13th of May already.
Today's the 13th of May.
Unbelievable. All right, so it's Ravioli Night. Come on down. I think it's like $65. You get a whole wine, food, the whole thing. You learn how to make raviolis. So a few tickets left. Go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com. Come on down. It's a blast. So that's tonight. Look at me. I'm out of my mind. All right, and don't forget, when the Knicks do get back to playing, we'll have all the Knicks playoff games here back when they get back at it. And want to remind everybody about the Borrelli's golf outing, which is Monday, June 22nd, right down here in Oceanside, down the way. Me and Mike, looks like I think we have our foursome ready to go.
Yes.
And it's going to be a great time, too. And it's for a great cause as well, too. Helping out a New York City firefighter as well, too. I'll get all the names. I got to get all the specifics and get everybody to know. So if you like golf, if you like hanging out with some great people and stuff, join us on June 22nd for the Borrelli's golf outing and go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com. And don't forget, anytime you come in here to Borrelli's, mention the CNC show, start your session off with a free Miller Lite draft. And join us here for lunch. Tomorrow, it's the $12 soup and sandwich special as well, too. So can't go wrong. The doors are open here. It's gorgeous. Come on down, walk the dog, leave the dog on the sign over here. Come on in here and watch some sports with us and have some fun. There you go, Mike. That's what's going on.
You should always come down, walk the dog, and bring him to Borrelli's during the day and hang out and just have a good time down there. It's so beautiful out, and hopefully it's going to be nice tomorrow when I'll be back there at Borrelli's in Long Beach on the island for a big Thursday show. Some of the hits from the Chaika press conference just now that's wrapping up, Paulie. It's going to take a little while. Quote, "We're going to take our time, do a wide search, and talk to a lot of people." So they're going to talk to a lot of people about this Toronto job. I don't know who would want to talk to them about the job, but they're going to talk to a lot of people. So you don't have anything to worry about there.
I'm going to ask Brian tomorrow who's out there, who's available, who wants to get, who wants it?
Who wants to do? Would you
coach? Let me ask you, Mike. Forget the money. Would you coach the Maple Leafs?
Yeah, I would do it for the money. I mean, that's the money.
No, I said
alone.
forget the money.
Yeah.
Forget the money. With the team as it is, let's say you got all the money you want in the world. Would you coach the team?
Be a coach in the NHL? Yeah,
right,
I would.
But
you're asking me.
Could I be your assistant coach?
Yeah, I mean, you know what it'll be. It could be like a what's that show where the soccer guy goes to coach in the Premier League and what is that show? I never watched. Ted Lasso, right?
Oh, Ted Lasso. I could be coach. Nice.
Premier League, and he really is. They could do a show like that. We'll go coach the Maple Leafs. The two of us behind the bench. We'll find a couple of other people, and we'll see if we could do a better job than the people that have done it already and haven't done any job. I mean, might as well put a couple fans back there. I mean, what worse could happen? You haven't won.
Should give it to the. What about the crew in Shoresy, right? That hockey comedy that's out there. Right. Those guys are hysterical.
You haven't won in 60 years. You might as well try something new. Try something different.
I guess they are with Chaika's hiring. I mean, come on, you know.
I suppose that's possible.
It's not our problem, buddy. We got down in the tri-state area with our hockey club.
Well, we certainly do. Now let's get to the baseball teams here in the tri-state area. The Yankees are going to start in about 10 minutes. They're in Baltimore. Finish of a 3-game series today, where they snapped a 4-game losing streak last night with a big 6-2 win over the Orioles. Before they won last night, Paulie, I even saw you tweet out fire Boone, fire, because
again,
it's
the same two guys we have a problem with, Jazz and Booney. So
get him out.
I have to say it again because it brought us some good luck last time, right? Fire Boone
before they lost the 4
and get
in a
rid
row.
of Jazz for a bucket of balls.
They won like 17 out of 20 before they lost 4 in a row.
It's unacceptable.
I think you could give, but here is the big thing that comes out of the past weekend where they got swept by the Brewers. This was the big talking point, and this is the big thing that everybody's kind of discussing, and I think it is worth talking about.
They were good teams?
After getting swept by Milwaukee, the Yankees are now, I believe it's 1-8 or 1-9 against teams with winning records this season. So that makes you think, you look at something like that or you hear something like that, and I get it because we talked the last few weeks about how weak the American League is overall and how the Yankees should win this American League as it's presently constituted because it is so weak. But the Yankees do have a tendency to become a bit of a bully team where they are bullies and beat up on the teams that are not very good. Example, the 4-game series against the Orioles, 2 weekends ago when they swept them the 4 games. They were a very bully team that weekend, beating up on the Orioles, beating up on their bullpen, and it is what it is. And then they played a pretty good team in the Brewers, and they got swept. Are the Yankees a bit of a paper tiger, as they like to say? They look good on paper. They're 27-13. They're 17 out of 20. But when they play someone like they got swept by Tampa, they got swept by Milwaukee. When they play someone who's good, doesn't go well for them. That's kind of now the narrative around the Yankees, and they're going to have to now wait a little bit to change that because, again, they're playing the Orioles, they're playing the Mets this weekend, who, whether you like it or not, the Mets have a losing record, so it's not going to change any of those narratives about beating good teams.
Yeah, you could say to Milwaukee. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the guy. He's the guy who played. Why not? I think it is. I'll say it for me. When they do lose, it's Booney first, right? And it's just
right.
It's the way the guys play sometimes. It's the bullpen, and let's look at some of the guys here in the lineup, right? Jazz has been useless. Come on, automatic out.
Yeah,
Scar the ball. Grissom here or there. Taking great defensively, not inconsistent at the plate. Obviously Benny getting hurt a little bit, trying to get back into it. You got Cabby going down. Cabby making some, mistakes in the Milwaukee series too. I mean,
Volpe back.
Yeah, well, Volpe back. I guess the plus side of that is you have a young kid who doesn't, he wants to prove everybody wrong. So, can he get in there and look at the pressure on him? What kind of pressure
Boone
is he?
Says Cabby gets the job back when he's healthy. When he's healthy, he goes right back in. That's what he says.
Well, I guess that's the right thing to say. I would assume right now. I mean,
I've heard people say that before. I've heard this manager say it before.
Well, I mean, look, I think the only time, what are you going to do if Volpe goes on a tear here, for argument's sake, until Cabby comes back? And let's say, Volpe's batting average and OPS is like through the roof, and he's playing great defensively. And in the 10 days here that Cabby's going to be out or something, you might be in that situation where, Booney will get the green light to say, hey, well, he's playing well. He's hot. He's the hot guy right now. I got to stay with him. You know what I'm saying? So, look, we'll deal with that when Cabby comes off the IL. And we'll see what happens,
Right.
But I think, like I said, even there, right? So, but I think you got a big problem with Jazz. I think everybody needs to start. I'm incredibly upset with the kid, man. I'm just mad with him, and just everything. It just seems very lazy. I have this feeling for the first time, or maybe not the first time this season, but I don't know if he wants to be a Yankee. I don't know if being a Yankee is suited for him, because it's not there, man. He's not. All the ABS challenges in the beginning of the season, there seems to be a little bit of laziness for him. There's been some laziness in terms of the play sometimes. Not every play. I mean, he's out there and stuff. I don't know what it's like. But to me, I look at a young kid like that who's got a chance to make a big contract next year, and he talks a lot, and he's just not delivering.
Yeah.
What's your take on the Jazz, man? Come on, let me hear it.
I think that they should find a way to get out of the Jazz business as soon as they can. Now, I believe he's a free agent at the end of this season. So, the whole lose him for nothing and all that stuff, because he has value. There are things that he does well. He certainly hasn't done a lot of them well this year. And a lot of that has been masked by the fact that they've played so well to this point, that you've kind of been able to deal with the fact that he makes seemingly a lot more mental mistakes than he made last year, seemingly less power than he hit for last year. What was his thing in spring training this year, Paul? He was like 30-30, right? Or he was getting the 40-40?
No, he said 50-50.
50-50 is what he was going to go for. 50-50. I apologize. 50-50 is what he was talking. I like him as a player overall. I think he does a lot of good things, but he does a lot.
What are
of
the
bad
good things he does? Give me recently the good things.
He does a lot of recently. You're saying obviously
he can't hit with runners in scoring position.
he's like a $112 or something like that with runners in scoring position. It's been awful. Recently, no, he has not done anything good this season. I'm saying, looking at him as a player overall, it's one of those things, Paulie. Are we just judging him and thinking that the last 6 weeks are going to be the rest of his career? Or do we trust that you look at the back of the baseball card and you go, wow, this guy's been a good player in the league and he's done good things? You have to think, will he come out of that at some point and play better? That's kind of the hope that you have. I would be perfectly fine if they went the rest of the season with him and they just let him go in the offseason and he goes and finds somewhere else to be. I would have no problem.
Yeah, but you say that, but if this guy doesn't pick up with his bat, I mean, he's just going to kill it because the back end of the lineup is really, really bad, man.
It is, but that's what
And again, we're talking about like what you brought up against good teams, okay? Like the Brewers played a hell of a series. Now, like I said, I would give the Yankees the first game because of that young kid who was throwing 104, 105 miles an hour. And I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. But anyway, you can maybe give him that. But the rest of the series. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Nobody beats the Miz.
No, nobody beats the Miz. But the rest of the series, I mean, Milwaukee played great small ball. They, the walk-offs there and everything else. I mean, it's just you want to see a little bit of life. You know what you're going to get from Bellinger. You know what you're going to get from Judge. You know what you're going to get from Rice when he's in the lineup and stuff.
Right.
And then the rest of it is like, all right, who you hope McMahon hits something. You hope Grizz can hit something.
Yeah.
You hope, Wells, like I said, just becomes basically an automatic out. And Jazz has been, like I said, he's supposed to be one of your main bats in the lineup. He's supposed to be a complement to the middle of the lineup there. And he's not. And I think as a team, as you go forward and you go longer, I don't know if you can sit here and just let a guy like that kind of ride the bench because he's Jazz and hopefully
they also can't.
I get it.
They can't afford to do that right now either. They got to keep putting him out there every day because you are down Stanton right now. You're down Caballero now. You're down. You start to get down guys, and then suddenly you need him in there. Like, who are you going to play after him? This Schoenemann that they've been putting out there.
Let's say in a crazy world. Well, let me pitch this to you in a crazy world. Let's say Volpe just happens to play decent here over the next couple of weeks.
All right.
And then Cabby comes back. Why not shift Cabby or Volpe and then have those two play the middle infield?
I mean, for a day or two, okay. I don't love it long term. I don't. I still believe that you would get more over a larger sample size out of Jazz than you would with that combination. I just do. I don't. And I know he's hitting 200 right now. He only has 4 homers. He only like the runners in scoring position. It's been bad. The guy's hitting 5th in the lineup. Like today, he's hitting 5th. That he's got to hit a little higher because Stanton's not in there. There's a lot of things that you got to factor in, but I still think that over the course of the whole thing, he'll give you more than that combination would give you. I just fully believe that. Maybe I'm believing
we have to play the waiting game.
Maybe I'm
we
more
should
of
just
a
take it
believer.
easy. It's May, and we just got to take it easy.
Well, again, you can because you're 27-16 right now. So you can. You have that ability to do that because you have played good enough baseball that you're still winning games, even with some of these problems that you're having with him. And if you were losing 12 out of 15, it would become obviously a bigger issue and there'd be more need to shake something up. But I think that if you're 27-16 and let's say you win today, you're 28-16, I think that if you're in that position, you have more time to let him try to get out of whatever he's in. Because I don't think that those options that you just pitched to me are better long-term options. I just don't believe that they are. I don't. You give me Jazz as bad as he's been. Give me Jazz every day of the week and twice on Sunday over Anthony Volpe. Every day. Every day. And
let's
think
put it this way. I think, like I said, I think all of us are just incredibly disappointed at him not being productive because
that's fine.
we
That's
have to
fair.
deal with Escara and McMahon and Wells not being productive. And then when you have Jazz, who's one of your high profile players, and he talks, but
Well, that's part of
he's
it
not
too.
walking, man. He's not walking the walk.
Part of it too is that he does talk, and that kind of factors in also. But like you look at this bottom of the line, like today against Bradish, which is about to start. They're going Jones, Volpe, and Escara 7, 8, 9 in the lineup. That's thin. And Jones is 1 for 11 so far. I like that they keep putting him in there every day. And I hope that they continue to do that. But he is 1 for 11. And you're going to have some struggles and growing pains with a guy who's just getting in there. McMahon, to be fair, like I said, he did have the look like he was getting it going for a little while there. He did have a string where I think he had hits in like 5 out of 6 or something like that. So,
but let's remember, McMahon, I don't really have too much of a, I mean, look, it's tough with him sometimes as far as his hitting, but he was primarily brought in for his defensive ability at third base. That's correct. That's why he's on this team.
Yeah.
The thing is that you have 2 catchers on your team who can't hit the ball.
Well, I understand that, but they didn't.
And then when you throw Jazz in there, also not hitting, that now you're in a bad spot, right? Now, granted, Stanton's out. Look, Jones comes up his first series against a really tough pitching, first time in the major leagues, as far as coming up and playing in the majors. Okay, I got time and space with Jones because it's a tough spot for him to come into. But to me, like Wells, I don't get it. I know like if me and you were to step in, at the plate and face a major league pitcher, we're hopeless. But this is their job. They're swinging. They're doing reps. They're doing. Why is the timing off so bad? How can you be so inconsistently just mediocre? And then you look at a guy like Judge because of his height, his stance, and how more difficult it is for him. But he does it. Judge finds a way. He does it. He's consistent. Bellies.
Look,
these. I don't. Yeah. How are these just guys just not hitting the freaking goddamn baseball?
Look, and I know that you were on Jazz, and everybody's on Jazz. Jazz is the guy right now. Like Wells shouldn't be hitting $180. Wells, you would have thought would be at least the level he was at last. Last year it looked like Wells was going to be a very offensive, serviceable, everyday catcher in the major leagues, and it's been hidden because of how well they've played. He has been worse than Jazz at the plate.
Yes, I agree.
He's been worse than Jazz. And Escara, he's a backup for a reason, okay? And I think the funniest, I forget who had this last week when Sterling passed away. I don't know which beat writer it was, said that they had spoken to John a couple of weeks ago before he passed away, and just to check in with him and see how he's doing. And I guess the first thing John said to him, "What are the Yankees doing carrying 2 left-handed catchers who can't hit?" It's like what? Like it's just some line like that. Like it's true. They both like the same player right now. Like usually when you have 2 catchers, obviously one's your main guy and one's your backup, but your backup usually has a different skill set of something. Either he's a better hitter and you're putting him in there for his stick, or he's a better caller of the game and he gets back, or he hits from the other side of the plate and gives a different look. Like there's usually something different about your backup catcher from your main guy. And that's not the case with the Yankees. Escara's the same guy as Wells, because if Wells is going to hit like this, then him and Escara are the same guy. If Wells was last year's Wells, then at least Wells is a professional major league hitter. He's not this year. And I have a lot more faith in Jazz than a lot of these other jokers that they're going to have at the bottom.
Hey, I'm one of those jokers. I am one of those jokers.
I'm just saying a lot more faith in these guys that they're going to run out there. The Volpes and the Escaras and the Wells and these guys. I think that Jazz will get a hot streak going at some point. So that's
be better.
That's what that I'm a, and this is, I'm a little bit more in the camp.
He's not going to get his money next year if he doesn't.
Tomorrow, of course, Paulie will really dive into more Mets Yankees this weekend. And by the way, Rodon came back as well in the Milwaukee series.
Mm-hmm.
Typical Rodon, looks great for 3 innings and then walks 600 guys and gets run. But fine, you want to give him a pass. It's his first start. We can give him a pass. All I know is there was guys pitching really well in this rotation before he came back. And he's going to bump one of those guys out. And the same thing now, Cole's going to come back. And I know Cole's got to pitch. He's their big money pitcher. But Weathers has pitched really well. Warren has pitched really well. Obviously, you're not – although I saw somebody bring this up, but it's true. They might have to do something with Schlittler at some point, Paulie, in terms of they don't want this kid pitching 220 innings this year, 230 innings this year. And because he's so damn good every time he goes out, he's pitching 70. The innings are stacking up for Schlittler very quickly. And you know that all of the paper pusher nerds in the office are probably going and getting on the phone. We don't want him to throw more than 203 innings this year, so we need to make sure that there was talk of maybe, taking a break from starting for him once Cole and Rodon get going, putting him in kind of a role where he goes in the bullpen and throwing less. Now, I agree with you. I hate this stuff. But that would be, Paulie, with the idea that you still have him at a reasonable inning count for September and October, which is obviously the more important thing. But I would hate this without this. Paulie, he is the favorite for the Cy Young in the American League on the betting board right now. He's the favorite to win the Cy Young. He's pitched so good. He has been unbelievable, and he's pitching one of these games against the Mets this weekend. So he'll see him.
Take him out in the 5th and the 6th, but don't take him off that starting mound.
I generally agree with you. I don't like when they get involved in all this stuff. I get in today's day and age, they have innings caps for all these younger pitchers now, and they don't want them throwing X amount of innings that they've never thrown before and all of that. But this guy has been incredible so far this year for the Yankees, and I would hate to mess with what they have going on. As far as the other side of town, we'll do a lot on the Subway Series tomorrow. The Mets will play the Tigers tonight, Paulie. And, they've actually, look, they lost 2 out of 3 in Arizona over the weekend. They beat the Tigers 10-2 last night. They have shown signs of life, but even with all of that, because of the start that they got out to, and Colorado losing last night and them winning did flip it. Going into last night, they had the worst record in baseball. But because they won and Colorado lost, now Colorado is just percentage points below them. But they're 16-25, and they have a lot of work to do. And they play the Yankees this weekend. And that ain't an ideal road you want to go with that. Now, they play a lot of Nationals, Marlins, and Reds after that. But they got to get through the Yankees this weekend before they continue to try to climb out of this enormous hole that they've dug themselves.
Well, I mean, I would have to say for the Mets, and if you want to call the Yankees struggling right now, and let's see, how they do against Baltimore today. But the Mets have to, you circle this series against the Yankees. If they could come out and win the series or win, how many are they playing? They're playing 2 or they're playing 3 games?
They're 3 games: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yankees, Mets.
So 3 games. So let's say if the Mets can, and I hate to say this, but it's possible just because of a lot of the inconsistency on a bunch of players here in the lineup for the Yankees. But anyway, from the Mets side of it, if they can get out of maybe winning the series against the Yankees and get that boost, the fan base would love it. And then again, with all the teams you're talking about afterwards, I think that's something that's like a goal. It's like a goal for the team, a goal for the coaching staff here. Let's do this. Let's beat the Yankees. Maybe they beat Detroit today. Let's go come home feeling good about ourselves. The atmosphere and the juice is going to be different against the Yankees. And hopefully they, again, this is just the Mets side of it. Hopefully they don't get destroyed. They don't get embarrassed. And if they can stand up here against the Yankees this weekend, that could be a little bit maybe on that hill that they're climbing up, but maybe get on the other side here.
Well, look, they're pulling all the tricks out of the bag now, because there's nobody in the ballpark. So they went to we're going to call up the kid everyone wants to see play out of the minors and see if that could spark us. So this AJ Ewing they brought up yesterday. And look, that's all exciting and it's all fun. And the kid had a good night last night too. Kid played well, and I hope he continues to do. But it all keeps going back to them for the same thing for me, Paulie. And he spoke again, and it feels like David Stearns needs to have like a state of the Mets every 3 weeks because they played so poorly. But Stearns talked again yesterday before the game. And every time you listen to this guy talk, at least me, I feel more and more like this guy is in the absolute wrong place. He is a small market, paper pusher, analytical, small market GM. That is what David Stearns is. And last year their problem was pitching. Everyone knew their problem was pitching. And instead, he revamped the entire lineup with a bunch of guys who are always hurt. That was his answer to everything, was to do that. And now you're sitting here, and he was, I wouldn't say nasty to the media yesterday, but he had a very big better than vibe with the media. I'm not doing this with you guys. They kept asking about the Mendoza. They're not firing Mendoza. Now, I don't exactly believe it was like, this guy's done a great job, is what he said yesterday. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, Paulie, but you're not firing Mendoza. He ain't going anywhere. And as long as Cohen's going to let Stern continue to be there and be the general manager, I wouldn't feel super confident as a Met fan, because everything that he's done so far has turned them in the complete wrong direction from where they were a couple of years ago, just completely going in the wrong direction. He also said he thinks they could still, now he has to say this, I don't blame him for saying it, he still believes the talent's there to make a run this season, which, if you do the math, isn't necessarily untrue, because as I told you, everyone is really alive because of how many playoff spots there are now in baseball. But he has done an awful job as the general manager of the Mets. And he sits at these press conferences and talks like he's a better than who knows everything. That's how he comes across. Meanwhile, he should be going back to Milwaukee and be the small market GM that he is. Shouldn't be the GM in New York. He just shouldn't.
Yeah, you'd almost like to think that the Mets get some. You almost need like an old school kind of guy to come in here. I just don't know if those guys are around anymore. I don't know if there's any old school, baseball, heads that can come in here and whether it's toughness, whether it's grit, whether you can do that with the types of players that either any manager's dealing with in a lineup right now. The mix between young and old, and then you have the contracts. I mean, you look at the two big guys here in this lineup for the Mets, Lindor and Soto, and what do you do with those guys? As far as bringing in or changing the culture or balancing things out and getting a winning team here. But I got to tell you, just reflecting back to this series, the Subway Series this weekend. If the Mets come around here and they the Yankee fans are going to lose their.
Well, that you see,
if the Mets win the series, let's just say it, and then on the other side of it too, like I said, if the Yankees, let's say they win the series or they sweep them in any kind of capacity, that's just going to push the Mets thing. I think on the other side of it, if the Mets can win this series, and if they could go for a sweep here, it could change things for them. Will it change things for them in the long run? Will it just be an aberration? I don't know, but I think if you're in the Mets organization right now, and if you're Mendoza and you're on this roster, the Mets want to beat the Yankees and be competitive and win the series this weekend.
Look, a couple things, and you make some great points here, Paulie, and let me just jump off of a few of them here. Number one, the first thing you said, and this has been true since the Subway Series started. This has been true since interleague play started, and now it's, in my opinion, been completely oversaturated. I don't need the Mets and the Yankees to play two series every single year. I think that it's kind of been overdone. I think it's lost its luster. I don't think that it's as cool as it was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I
want to get rid of the interleague altogether.
I would, and I'm with you. I wouldn't mind if they did that, but this is the day and age we live in now. That's never going to happen. But one thing that has always been true of when these two teams get together in interleague, and especially so in a season like this where one team is doing better than the other, and I'm not trying to say this in a bad way to Met fans, it just seems like more times than not, it's the Yankees that are in that spot and the Mets that are in the other spot. It really is a no-win situation for the Yankees and their fans. Because when the Yankees are playing as well as they are, or in terms of 27-16 and at the top of the American League, and the Mets have the worst record, the Yankees are expected to not just win the series, but sweep the Mets. They're expected to because of the difference in record and the difference in how the teams have played so far. And all it takes is something like you said, the Mets to take 2 out of 3 this weekend at Citi Field from the Yankees to, and I don't think it affects the players so much, Paulie, but as a fan, the fans are the one who have to deal with it because for the fans, it's a no-win situation because then the Met fans can get very mouthy because they won 2 out of 3 against the Yankees and all the stuff about the Yankees. Even though the Mets aren't a winning team, it's a big spot because it's the Subway Series. And again, the Yankees can't beat teams in a big spot and they can't beat good teams. It's a no-win situation unless the Yankees sweep them. Anything less, sure, taking 2 out of 3, you probably don't hear anything either. But anything less, you're going to hear from very mouthy Met fans, even though they're having a bad season, that, well, we beat the Yankees in 2 out of 3. And the other point of it that you bring up is very good. For a team that has gotten off to the type of start that the Mets have, if you were to win that series against the Yankees, and if you have the atmosphere in the ballpark that you expect from a Subway Series Mets-Yankees situation, I think it absolutely can springboard a team. I think it's the one thing that can get the players going and be like, whoa, everyone was pumped. We took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. This could get us going. And you look at who they play after. Now, and these teams beat them a couple weeks ago when they were playing very poorly. But when you see the Nationals and the Marlins and all these teams on the schedule, it's an opportunity that you can springboard off of if you won a series against the Yankees and really roll that into getting your season back on track. So despite the records, there is a lot on the table here for the Mets this weekend that they can do in this Yankee series. There's a lot for them and their fans. There's a ton that they can do.
Without a doubt. And that's something that maybe the Yankees need to be a little concerned about. But again, I think you bring up a great point too, as well as what this series means to the players, Right. But I would have to say, if there's any pride left on the Mets bench,
well,
they want this series. They gotta win this series.
Yeah. And look, I think that the other thing for the Mets, you're going to have a lot of guys who haven't been a part of this yet. So I don't know if it really is going to have a lot of juice for them yet, whether it's Bichette and Simeon and some of these guys. Man, Simeon.
Well, Bichette likes beating the Yankees. He knows
I know that. He knows about playing the Yankees, but I mean the feel of the Mets versus Yankees. It's a different type of crowd. It's a different it's just a lot of things.
For the Mets, that's going to be the first time in a long time that the ballpark's going to be sold out, right?
They'll have full houses this weekend. There's no question about that. There'll be full houses this weekend. And, obviously Soto knows all about it from both sides, and Judge knows all about it. And I'm interested to see the Mets pitching. Tomorrow, I think Paulie will know more about who the Mets are going to pitch this weekend in that series. The Yankees have already, put it out. They're pitching Schlittler and Rodon, and I forget who the third one, Weathers, I think on Sunday is where they're going. So we'll do a lot more with the Subway Series tomorrow. All right. Before we get out of here, I do want to do a couple things with the golf starting tomorrow, Paulie. But before we do, we always have to get in our second time telling us about what is happening at Borrelli's. And I got to tell you, we'll be there tomorrow afternoon, of course, as always on a Thursday at noon. And I know Tommy will have the PGA Championship on for me there. And I'm sure that's another great opportunity to come down and hang with us at Borrelli's, Paulie, on a Thursday.
That's right. Come on down. First thing you do is you walk right in here, 912 West Beach Street, right here in Long Beach. You go right up to the bar, and our favorite bartender, Tommy's here, and you say, I want to mention the Carver and Cuthbert podcast, and Tommy's going to give you a free Miller Lite draft right on the spot. And then you get a $12 soup and sandwich specials, and Nelson back here and the crew, they got the best sandwiches down here and best food. So there you go. There's your start there tomorrow. But tonight, it's Wednesday, May 13th, and it's ravioli night down here at Borrelli's. There's a few tickets left. Go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com. Come on down. Wine, food, everything included with the price and package, and you can learn how to make raviolis. It's a blast. All the pasta nights here, look out for them at Borrelli'sTaproom.com. Come down, the spaghetti, there's marinara, the sauce nights. It's amazing down here at Borrelli's. And tonight is ravioli night. So go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com and see if you can get some tickets. Come on down for that tonight. Tomorrow is Thursday, May 14th. And that means it's carnivore night. And tomorrow is a special carnivore night. In addition to getting a steak, pork, or veal, super salad, and a dessert, bottomless beers, and endless wines, For only $42.99, you also get Billy Joel theme night here tomorrow night. Okay? And that means you get the greatest hits of Billy Joel live music here at Borrelli's, songs from an Italian restaurant, and Carnival night. It's going to be awesome here tomorrow night. So come on down, no cover, like I said. And then again, for $42.99, you eat and drink like a king and a queen. All great stuff. This weekend is the big country fest here at Borrelli's. We're talking about this for months. It's been in plans for months. I think the weather's going to be great here. And they're going to have the tents outside. They're opening things up. You're going to have live music all weekend long, all country, all Nashville. Covers that you love and original artists, too, from Nashville are coming up here. It's going to be like nothing you've ever seen before. It's going to be unbelievable, and that's hosted by Anthony Gow, Long Island's own Anthony Gow. And come on down here for country music all weekend long here at Borrelli's Taproom. Comedy series, Anthony Rodias. A few tickets left for him on Monday night, the 18th. And then a couple more shows coming in here. Billy Gardell has just been announced on June 1st. James Fried is in here on June 29th. Joe List is here on July 14th. And Chris DiStefano is going to be here on Wednesday, August 5th. More comedy shows are going to be announced as well. So check that out. Again, you go to brentbright.com and search Borrelli's Comedy, or you go to borrellistaproom.com and click on the events and get your comedy tickets right there. The golf outing is coming up on Monday, June 22nd. We're going to have more information on that in the next week or two. But go to borrellistaproom.com. It's going to be a great day. I think it's $275 for a full day of golf. You get all the food, all the drinks, everything included. And then if you just want to hang out, I think it's like $75. And you come back here to Borrelli's, you get dinner and all the drinks. It's going to be a great time. Me and Mike are going to be there. We're all foursome. It's going to be a blast. And that's it for right now, because you got Country Fest this whole weekend. That's all the live entertainment. You got Carnival night tomorrow night. You got Ravioli night tonight. And you walk in here anytime, mention the CNC podcast, and you get a free Miller Lite draft. There you go, Mikey.
Look at that. You got through it all, and the music even. You ran through the whole music with it also, Paul.
I timed it well. Timed it well.
It's called hitting the post, we call that
yes.
in the business. Hitting the post is right there. Tomorrow I'm going to save this. I have a musical thing for you that I wanted to bring up. I don't know how much American Idol you watch now. Probably not much.
I don't watch any of it. I read the headlines.
Did you
I know
the clip?
who's...
Did you see the clip of Carrie Underwood with Motley Crue the other night?
No, I hate to say it. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but I held myself up from clicking on any links.
Do your homework tonight, and tomorrow we'll discuss. Go find Carrie Underwood with Motley Crue.
Well,
I think it was from this week because I saw it making the rounds a lot.
I'm sure Carrie crushed it because Carrie's excellent.
Carrie 1,000% crushed it.
Yes.
To
me though, it's all right. You know what? We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Watch it, and then tomorrow give me some thoughts. Because
the thing is that I don't really have to. I'll watch it for you. I will. Okay, but to me, it's a marketing thing. It's all about selling Motley Crue tickets and everything else.
Well, my biggest thing, which we'll discuss, is Vince has to shut it down. He shouldn't be out there anymore. It's just tough. And Carrie just, they did Home Sweet Home and Kickstart My Heart, and it was just like, Vince.
Well, who knows? She might become the new singer of Motley Crue. She should. Maybe Lincoln Park went out and got a fantastic female singer. Why not add another female singer?
She's done so much. Why not a nice career pivot, right?
Well, Carrie's a huge heavy metal hard rock fan. She's performed with Guns N' Roses over the years, so she can do it. She's got the voice for it.
I thought it was interesting performance.
Okay,
Carrie with and not because of her. So I thought it was an interesting.
We'll ask B-Comp tomorrow too. He's a big music guy. So.
B-Comp, I'll get his thoughts on it as well. All right, before we go, PGA Championship tomorrow, Paulie. They're at Aronimink, just outside of Philadelphia.
I'm a little surprised that you're talking about the PGA today because I figured you would have went full bore into the release of the NFL European schedule.
That I got to give you tomorrow too. and here's another thing. I hate. Now, remember, they put all this out that the Bills are going to play that week 2 Thursday night game at home against the Lions, and you sent me the thing with all the ticket prices and how expensive it is. I don't know if it said in any of those releases that was their first home game or not. I would hate if that's their first home game. I want them to play. Listen, everyone wants Sunday at 1 now. That's not the way the world works anymore. No one's going to, but it's just a weird spot because that means maybe they'd be on the road the first week and then have to play a short week at home for the first. I hate that stuff. I wanted it to be first game. It should be Sunday night. Do I need another giant Cowboy game on Sunday night to open the season? Do I really need that? Is that what I really need? Does the world need another giant Cowboy week one Sunday night opener? Do we really need that?
Let's do more football tomorrow because because that's a Harbaugh thing. That's ratings.
And I think tomorrow night is when they're putting it out, Paulie, is the schedule. I think the schedule's coming out tomorrow night. And it'll start to they'll do more leaks tomorrow morning before we come on. And everybody, you'll probably know half the damn schedule by the time we're on. Their show always gets ruined.
Have you seen the business you're getting for your new stadium from the shots from the planes in the air?
Yeah, look.
It looks like a bedpan.
Well, you know what? This is the world that we live in. That again,
it does.
It does look like that. But I'll have more thoughts tomorrow.
All right, we got some NFL tomorrow. Looking forward to it. All right, buddy.
PGA Championship outside of Philly, teeing off tomorrow. Second major of the year. Looks like the course is in incredible condition. It looks like the weather is going to be incredible for all 4 days. Should be a really fun event. Rory ripped his toenail off. He's walking around without his shoes and socks on out there.
Was it his toenail? I thought it was just a blister.
I thought he ripped the whole toenail off somebody. I can't. I didn't want to look at his feet anymore. So I just scrolled right past it.
Rory. They'll be writing songs about this tomorrow.
A few guys I like for this week. I like Tommy Fleetwood. I like Russell Henley's probably my favorite play this week. I really love Russell Henley.
Is Fleetwood won?
He hasn't won a major. No, he's not won a major. And last year,
you're pretty high on him, like pretty much every weekend.
I think he's a really good player, and I hope
he's one of your guys.
He's one of my guys, and hopefully Russell Henley will be one of my guys this week. I really like Russell Henley a lot at this place, but I also think, Paulie, there's a really good chance that Scotty Scheffler just destroys everybody too, and I think that that's very much on the table at a course like this. So I think that that's something else that we've got to keep our eye on. But we'll be watching some of it tomorrow. Tommy will have it on down there at Borrelli's. I'll be watching. I got some first-round leaders with Cam Young and Ludwig Oberg and Aaron Ryan, Corey Connors for first-round leaders. So I've got lots of stuff. I tweet out the golf stuff all day, 2 on Wednesdays, getting ready for the tournament. So really excited, Paulie. And I wish I could go down there to Aronimink just outside of Philly and take in some of the golf. It would be. Instead, I'm going to the car race this weekend, the Bet Rivers 200 in Delaware. So I'll have that on Saturday.
Got to give everybody a preview. Yeah.
That'll be it. I don't even know who's running, but I'll be at the race. I'll be there hanging out. So I got that going for me. I guess our time's up, Paul. Is it 1:30 already?
Yeah, I got to tell you, the time has flown. There's no doubt about it. I want to thank the crew in the chat and Johnny and Eddie.
Eddie from Columbus making an appearance. Better late than never. Yes, catch the replay, Eddie. We do appreciate everybody being there. So we're back tomorrow, Paulie. 12 noon, noon East. Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. Mets-Yankees Subway Series preview. More of the hockey in the NBA playoffs. We'll do a lot of the NFL scheduling stuff tomorrow. And, of course, we'll be watching round 1 of the PGA Championship. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio. See you back at Borrelli's tomorrow at noon.